in him making a mistake. So he's fallen from the pedestal that he didn't ask us to put him on.
Yeah.
Right? And so I guess maybe from that perspective, Kagiso perhaps put him on that pedestal as well, as a black South African, looking up to a black South African athlete. And now he's fallen, and now your heart is broken. So I think we broke our own hearts here.
Well, the thing for me about this entire saga is that, Herschel Gibbs scored 175 playing for South Africa in the 4-3-8 game. Hungover, he was out on the tear, out drinking until 1:30 the morning before, basically. And arrived hungover, drunk, probably still, and he just started swinging. So now, no one ever goes, I know Herschel was drunk. But KG took some coke, apparently according to Report newspaper, and now he's the worst person. That's going to be a spot on his, a dark taint on his name.
Guys, you're right. Perhaps we should also just all move on from the story. It is what it is. It's out in the media based on who he is and what he does. And can we keep it moving?
And then here's the ironic thing. So he goes back to India for the IPL, and it gets cancelled because of the war between India and Pakistan, which is now. There's a ceasefire, which is not an entire ceasefire. Cricket South Africa now wondering whether their players should go back to the IPL because it might impact then on the World Test Championship in June.
Correct. Yeah.
So and Cricket Australia are going, guys, if you don't want to go back, you don't have to. We'll take the financial brunt, and there's a big financial brunt in terms of paying for the IPL for those guys coming across. But I mean. The final of the IPL will be on June the 3rd, and the World Test Championship starts.
But doesn't everything clash now?
Yeah, so the World Test Championship will start on June the 18th or something. Well, English players, if they go back to the IPL, will miss the start of their tour to the West Indies. So it's, the IPL, they dictate what happens. The BCCI, basically the BCCI are the ICC with a B. That's all it is. They just turn it around.
I want to ask, who's the Mampara here? Are we the Mampara?
In
putting
terms of
KG on the pedestal? Or is KG the Mampara?
I don't think KG is. Have you ever sped in your car? You got a speeding fine?
I've been arrested for speeding.
What?
Yeah. Story for another day.
No. That's a story for today. Tell me how fast.
Hey, we've been here. I mean, we're not going to win everything. And then yesterday, the news breaks that today will be the last day that Coach Riviero is in charge of the team. Mandla Nkazi then takes over for the last remaining 4 games.
The Outer Hebrides, basically, if you live in the parks of Joburg. But, Brad Jakes, much like Mama Bola, the most respected sports writer I have worked with. I've known him.
The sports news. Headlines have spoken. Streaming data free on the MTN network in South Africa. This is where Africa comes to play. That is a masterclass on your phone, online, and on demand at omniaudio.africa.
It's mayhem.
Not the sports news.
It's Tuesday, and it's our favorite show of the week. Well,
Yes.
my favorite show. What a Mampara?
Yeah.
It used to be called Mampara of the Week, but now basically
What a Mampara.
It could last forever.
When did you take it? 2 weeks ago.
Yes, I did.
When
As
you
a
came
Liverpool
out
fan,
tops, yeah.
still incredibly.
Are you still
probably,
celebrating?
I'm probably still in the context, and I'm ready for the competition.
But I'm not so happy about the booing. But anyway, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
I guess Chiefs, they make it as contenders number 1, the technical staff more so, for robbing Captain Yusuf Mart of a moment.
Well, it was just disgraceful. We spoke about it yesterday on the show. The fact that the goalkeeper coach decided he was going to grab the trophy from
The
Mart.
captain.
Yeah, as he's celebrating. And I didn't realize that. I just read it yesterday. He scored a goal with his left foot.
He did, yes.
Which is his weaker foot.
Yes.
And he said, but you have to shoot with both feet. So, but the way he spoke about it was almost like a mistake.
Look, for me, if you take a look at that goal, it was really right place, right time.
Yeah.
This is just me, you know, from my vantage point. So please don't shoot me because you know people are going to come. And for me, it was just like if he had positioned himself to shoot with a stronger foot, he would not have gotten it in. It was just like one of those moments where, man, here I go. Yeah. And even if you see the way his foot goes after kicking the ball, you know, it wasn't like one of those like power kicks. It was, I have to take this chance right here, right now.
Just place it.
Correct.
Yeah.
And he did. And look what happened.
There was a classic quote from John Barnes, who was very left-footed as a player. And he says, the ball was coming over, and he read in the media that he didn't have a right foot. Ball was coming over, and it's coming onto his right foot, and he said, "Well, I can't get onto my left." So I decided to head the ball in.
Voila. Yeah, I don't have right foot.
Voila. But I mean, so that goalkeeper coach, his name is Mazogi.
Yes.
Elias Mazogi. That entire team. I mean, we got Nabi Investments down the road.
Zungo up the road.
I don't think anybody's going to be investing in Chiefs very soon, the way they're playing.
So they're number one contenders.
Yeah.
Our second contender is Open Tickets, who, remember, they changed their ticketing companies to Open Tickets, and then have a big derby, and then having to have to halt the ticket sales once it goes on sale. And then I think it was 5,000 to 10,000 tickets oversold, and having to rectify the whole thing.
Refund, and there are people who spent 15,000 rand on
tickets.
No, on flights, accommodation down to Durban. There's a guy from Santon quoted in News 24 and Times Live. Basically, this poor guy basically spent money for himself and his friends to come down to Durban for the match, and he had tickets. Okay, he says, "Great, we got tickets." No tickets.
Did they get tickets again after that?
No, they did not.
Man.
I'm sure they may have bought outside on the black market, but that said, at least there wasn't the nonsense of people trying to squeeze into the stadium. And we spoke to Mto yesterday from Far Post, and he said it was actually a very calm, very well handled. There was no nonsense outside. There was no overcrowding. There was no, basically a fury, which we were worried about.
We were. Rabada's story continues in the media.
God, it's enough now. It's overwrought.
You think? Should we just forgive him and move on?
But it's overwrought and overwritten. I mean, I wrote a column about this for Business Day last week, and I just said, there's a guy called Kagiso Rabada who writes for News 24. And he wrote saying, this guy, he's the picture of black cricket excellence, and he's let us down. And going, Oak, the only time he lets you down is when he doesn't take a wicket. He's done a bit.
I guess it's that pedestal that I said that we have put him on. And so who has he disappointed, or have we disappointed ourselves in him making a mistake? So he's fallen from the pedestal that he didn't ask us to put him on.
Yeah.
Right? And so I guess maybe from that perspective, can you perhaps put him on that pedestal as well, as a black South African, looking up to a black South African athlete. And now he's fallen, and now your heart is broken. So I think we broke our own hearts here.
Well, the thing for me about this entire saga is that, Herschel Gibbs scored 175 playing for South Africa in the 4-3-8 game. Hungover, he was out on the tear, out drinking until 1:30 the morning before, basically. And arrived hungover, drunk, probably still, and he just started swinging. So now, no one ever goes, I know Herschel was drunk. But KG took some coke, apparently according to the Report newspaper, and now he's the worst person. Now it's going to be a spot on his, a dark taint on his name.
Guys, you're right. Perhaps we should also just all move on from the story. It is what it is. It's out in the media based on who he is and what he does. And can we keep it moving?
And then here's the ironic thing. So he goes back to India for the IPL, and it gets cancelled because of the war between India and Pakistan, which is now... there's a ceasefire, which is not an entire ceasefire. Cricket South Africa now wondering whether their players should go back to the IPL because it might impact then on the World Test Championship in June.
Correct. Yeah.
So Cricket Australia are going, guys, if you don't want to go back, you don't have to. We'll take the financial brunt, and there's a big financial brunt in terms of paying for the IPL for those guys coming across. But I mean, the final of the IPL will be there on June the 3rd, and the World Test Championship starts.
Everything clash now?
Yeah, so the World Test Championship will start on June the 18th or something. Well, English players, if they go back to the IPL, will miss the start of their tour to the West Indies. So it's, the IPL, they dictate what happens. The BCCI, basically the BCCI are the ICC with a B. I think that's all it is. They just turn it around.
I want to ask, who's the Mampara here? Are we the Mampara?
In terms
putting
of
KG on the pedestal, or is KG the Mampara?
I don't think KG is. Have you ever sped in your car? You got a speeding fine?
I've been arrested for speeding.
What?
Yeah. Story for another day.
No. That's a story for today. Tell me how fast.
I was going quite fast. I didn't realize I drove a fast car at the time.
Yeah.
The calibration was off. had to appear in court.
The calibration.
Yeah, no, it was really. That was my saving grace. Do you know how nervous I was sitting there?
The calibration
The
was
calibration was off. Yes, it was. I sat there, I think, from 8 o'clock until 1 o'clock, like sweating. You will not believe. Because I didn't know where to go. I didn't know where to appear. I'm just like, I'm here. I was caught speeding, you know. It did make it into the newspaper.
Oh, no.
Someone allegedly called me.
Yeah.
But a comment I never made happens to be there. But anyway, I live to tell the tale.
I know.
So yes. To answer your question,
So
yes.
you've sped. Have you ever drunk too much that somebody's had to take you home? Have you ever?
No.
Well, you
I've
need to up your game.
Yes, it should be the other way around.
But have you ever done something that's illegal without knowing it's illegal, and then maybe just taken a chance? And everyone's taken a chance.
Correct.
And KG has done that. I mean, I put him in the A Mampara thing to be not. I think almost the anti-Mampara of the week.
I think we should also be contenders for Mampara. I mean, we being everybody who has heavily criticized him.
Yeah, I mean, when we spoke to Kligeland last week, he was saying, what nobody seems to talk about is the fact that binge drinking, alcohol abuse is welcomed in cricket and rugby and football, and dacha use is okay because it's not illegal. I mean, literally, if I walk down 6th Avenue in Parkhurst, I'll walk past 5 cannabis shops.
Yes, there's so many these days,
Yeah.
hey? Canna
Yeah.
Kingdom and Canna this and Canna that.
I mean, that's why I'm due arrives late to work most days.
Oh, because he goes via there.
He is so gerook, it's not funny. I mean, he is like, but he's a Pirates fan. He has to be, these days he must smoke a lot.
Kev, shall we move on to the next Mampara?
Okay. Should we start? Liverpool fans, what are you doing?
You tell me.
So they booed Trent Alexander-Arnold. Basically, when he lined up, he was going to replace Conor
Yes,
Bradley.
I just don't get that.
Because now he's leaving to go to Real Madrid, where apparently Xabi Alonso is going to be taking over. He had his last match with Leverkusen. Carlos Ancelotti last night was announced as the first foreign coach of Brazil in ever, I think. I don't think they've ever had a foreign coach for Brazil. He's now moving, the 65-year-old, and Xabi Alonso seems to be set to go there. But now because Trent is now moving to Real, which he... it hasn't been actually confirmed yet. Otherwise, it's just been... It's keep rumored, but he is leaving Liverpool. But they just started booing him. So he stood up to get onto the field, they booed him. Every touch he had, they
Just
booed him.
because he's leaving?
Exactly that. And I've been watching a lot of the stuff on Instagram and TikTok, and we'll put some stuff up on the site later. But it's just overwrought and overwritten.
But I think the coach also reacted to that.
The honest lot said he's a good person. He's been here for 20 years.
Guys,
He's
come
played first
on.
team for 8 years.
Come on, and now you're booing the guy?
He has won everything it is possible to win as a 26-year-old that you can in football. So he's won Champions League, he's won Premier League, he's won FA Cup, Carabao Cup, the World Club Cup, and he's played for England. He's an absolute superstar. Possibly I wouldn't say he's the best right back in the world. I'd say he's the best wing back on the right in the world because of his in terms of his
show the guy
crossing.
some love, man.
He's got more assists than basically I think everyone apart from Mo Salah in the league. You know, he's one of those. He's got a right foot that's basically it was blessed by God. You know, I think actually is God's left foot, right foot. He just gave it to him and just said, "Listen, play." And but they're booing him because I think because they realize he's a £100 million player, and he's going for free. So that is an issue.
Do you boo for that?
Well,
do you boo for that, or you know?
But how do you boo one of your own? So let's
Correct.
So has it ever happened in like a Chiefs Pirates derby, for instance, that a Chiefs player has been booed because he played for Pirates or a Pirates player?
No, not that I can think of off the top of my head.
And it's a very different scenario. Whereas in England, I mean, basically, if you played for Chelsea and then you got to play for Liverpool, they'll call you a Chelsea reject. You know, so there's no such thing here as a Pirates reject or a Stellies reject or...
Who was it that came from? Is it Chiefs to Pirates, and then somebody did a celebration? For some reason, I've got Kermit in my head, but it can't be right. Who broke the bones after they... And it was a big thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was as far as I can think. But nobody booed. No one booed anybody.
I'd have to ask the Kermit story because who and is he named after? He's not named
Kermit?
after the frog. Please tell me.
I don't know. But
Is
you know,
this-
his second name is Romeo, so he did go by Romeo for a little bit.
Kermit Romeo.
Yeah, so it's like, and then he swapped it around to Romeo.
Romeo Kermit.
Yeah. Well, Kermit is his first name.
Does his mother know Miss Piggy? Do they live on Sesame Street?
Quit while you're ahead, okay? Quit while you're ahead.
I can't get over the Kermit thing. It's just too much for me. But anyway, so the booing of Trent has been on social media, and a lot of Liverpool fans saying, guys, he may be a rat, but he's still our rat. He's a born and bred Scouser. He's been there for 20 years. He's played for us for 8 years. He's a teenage superstar. Just give the guy a break.
I don't know. For me, it's more like culture within football, right? Because today's Mamparas are chief staff who didn't obviously give Mart his moment, with Vina Maposa, the media and communications person, stepping in to say, please, out the way. But also, how do they not know the unspoken language of how celebrations are done? You know, because if you are going to get your time with the trophy. I don't understand why it needed to be then there. And I mean, for the cameras, it's open tickets, which is also football at the end of the day, and ticket sales not going well when this is the new, preferred ticket outlet that then makes this big blunder. Or maybe it's the old ticketing company saying, ha, 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 ha.
But they
Watch us.
But you've got to feel for the fans who don't have access to digital media. So they're the guys who go to the shop, right? To the
Correct,
Pick
to
and
the
Pay, to
Checkers,
those
et cetera,
checkers, to go and buy the tickets. And they said the system's online, go online. So they're probably calling up friends, getting on to see who's got airtime, who's got data. And then they're getting screwed still.
Yeah, not fair.
It's not fair on fair on
and
fans.
then again on our football trail, it's the booing.
Yeah, the booing anyway. But coming up after the break, we're going to look at Manchester United will not be having an open
Bass barbecue.
open bus tour because Jim Ratcliffe is cutting back there. Brad Jakes will be in studio today.
Oh, yay.
He's coming to the new studios to say hello.
Yes,
Good man.
we moved, by the way.
We are now in
Ryanston.
the Outer Hebrides, basically, if you live in the parks of Joburg. But Brad Jakes, much like Mama Bola, the most respected sports writer I have worked with. I've known him since 96, I think, 98.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no,
at
Jake's
you
and I are
guys.
old mates. I mean, we both had hair. We both had black hair. And
now
we
you've
both
got
got
no
grey
hair.
hair.
Oh,
I've got no hair. He's got grey hair.
Okay, got you.
And he's now a respected runner. He basically
Correct, yes,
he
yes.
wins over 50 categories in a lot of races.
Brad Jakes.
Brad Jakes is a runner. Look at that little skinny body. I mean, this is the guy who didn't run until about 10, 15 years ago. Now he's a runner of note. Speaking of doing a runner, Jose Rivera, what's going on there? Has he done a runner?
Oh, shame. I don't know what's going on, but all I know is I'm putting together a very long edit on this.
Yeah.
So it was the final dance. Pirates let everybody know that he will be released at the end of the season. It came as no surprise, really, They didn't wait for the end of the season, basically, is what I'm saying. So, and then he doesn't win the Nedbank Cup.
Yeah.
And then afterwards he says, okay, we've been here. I mean, we're not going to win everything. And then yesterday the news breaks that today will be the last day that Coach Riviero is in charge of the team. Mandla Nkazi then takes over for the last remaining 4 games. And it's fare thee well, Riviero.
The game against Golden Arrows. That just
At
feels...
Orlando Stadium. So I think it's also nice that it's a home game. And this is like the final farewell. But for me, I'm just like, there's 4 games left. Why buy now?
Yeah.
Is it that the alleged interference, which is why they're saying he's going, has gotten so bad that he wants to go now? But I'm just thinking, it'd be nice that you rounded off the season, right? All the way to the end. We know you're going.
Yeah.
We know you're going. So.
And you actually heard that first on OmniAudio.Africa, thanks to Kevin Fine, who's sitting behind. He told him, and he just brags about it. Said, I've heard from a friend who knows a friend.
Sorry,
whose
guys.
cousin.
The news broke yesterday. Morning already.
But he's told us the interference story, though.
Oh, yes. That
Interference
one.
story,
One, yes.
That
And then
story,
also,
yeah.
shame he came under heavy scrutiny,
Yeah.
I wonder what Mdu thinks about his beloved Coach Lee there.
Do you just want to shout something? Riviero going?
He's got no words.
Crami or Riviero.
It's Jose. It's Jose.
Oh, Jose. No way, Jose. Oh, that way, Jose. But he's gone.
Yeah, but no,
I think he's brought a lot to South African football, and particularly Pirates. I mean, he's won, 2 Nedbank Cups. Hasn't won the league, but
Look, he's won a couple of million in terms of prize monies with the team. You know, I worked it out the other day, but you know, my math doesn't always math, so I won't give you the figure.
Your poor daughter, when it comes to homework, must go, Mum, I've got math. Don't worry, Mum. Just go, Mum, I'll Google it.
So it is sad, I think, that he is not seeing the season through to the end, like to the bitter end, to the last
It just
day.
make a sort of final set. Well, that's the thing with Trent Alexander-Arnold now. We're talking about Mamparas and Liverpool fans. Can Arne Slot now pick him? You know, can he pick him to play? Is he going to get booed at home or away
But shouldn't
by
you pick
fans?
the best player? And aren't these players also resilient? It's not nice, but you know what your job is at the end of the day. And if it is that you are the preferred player in that position, and you're still part of the team, boos aside, play the player, because don't you need the result?
Well, we don't anymore because we won the title, but the
Look at you.
the title celebration is it's a bit like Sundowns, but the title celebration is coming up to the final game of the season will be against Crystal Palace at home.
Yeah.
I mean, will they boo him then? You
Just
can't
don't boo. It just takes away so much.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know, the education sometimes, I think, of fans goes out the window, and then you're ruled by emotion.
Yeah.
But it's not fair. Like you said, he's been there for 20 years. He's won everything. He's done everything. Let the guy go if he wants to go.
Yeah, I used to have an argument with an editor at the Star, Muxin Williams, used to say, Kevin, what does the man on the street want to read? I said, I don't care. The man on the street's usually quite stupid. And they are, but the viewers don't know what they want. You know, fans don't know what they want.
They do know, but we also cannot insult their intelligence because they are sitting there and you're feeding them something, but also you can't take your audience for granted at the end of the day.
Well, please, my mother used to call me up and say, Kevin, some guy's written this rubbish in the Saturday Star. So, Mum, that was me. Yeah, so I'm sorry. He said, oh, I thought you worked for the Sunday Times. I said, see, this is why the man in the street, woman in the street is daft. But yeah, Trent is going to be playing for a while. I hope he plays, and I hope I see Dominic Szoboszlai said, listen, guys, he told the cops, what is wrong with you? Who are you booing? Why are you booing him? Look, this man has given us so much. He's won us 2 titles. Manchester United, you're a big Man United fan, aren't you?
Well, I don't know about the word big in the front there, but a fan, yes. Minute stakes.
Why is it going to be low key? Why do that? Why not celebrate something?
But aren't they cutting back also all the costs? And isn't there a new stadium coming up as well that's supposed to be costing so much money? And over the last couple of weeks, months, what have we been reading about United? Apart from poor results, it's money.
Pretty much.
It's money. It's cut on this, it's cut on that. It's scaled down. It's money.
Well, if you look at Arsenal would have an open top bus parade if they made the semi-finals of the Champions League, which they did, and then they lost. Arsenal, what do you celebrate? How do you celebrate it? But you don't celebrate with a barbecue. You know,
I know you're not on a bus in order to move from place to place.
And United
move from place to place for people to see you.
United are the biggest team in the world in terms of fans. They are massive. Liverpool will be having an open top bus parade. That's because we're champions. I don't think I've mentioned that already. But yeah, it's just, for me, it doesn't feel right. I mean, they should have some sort of celebration, even if it's just at the ground. Maybe have a barbecue for the entire fan base.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, money.
At Old Trafford. You know, maybe a bring and bri.
Yeah, there you go. Shall we run through those contenders again?
Yeah, let's go again. So let's start with the Chiefs staff. I think they're probably going to end up winning. But, I mean, obviously most of these guys are Nabi staff.
But also, maybe we should also not take for granted that everybody knows that this is how it goes. Don't you think?
But it's the norm globally.
The world over. But, I mean, common sense is not common for everybody.
But this is the goalkeeper coach, and we spoke to him yesterday, and he said, this does this all the time.
He does, but that is why I'm saying common sense is not common for everybody, and we all know that he's that show-off guy. If he sees the camera, if he sees anything, if he sees the jib, if he sees a cameraman at the grounds, he's in front of that camera. And so, did we think that he wasn't going to take the opportunity to do just that here?
Somebody should have given him a smack around the ear.
Look, yeah, it is sad. It is sad. And I'm sad that the captain, when he hoisted that trophy, doesn't just have a shot of him and his team. It is overcrowded with everybody else who should have had their moment much later. Whom you don't see there is actually the performance analyst, whom you'll never see. He's always in the background, you know. He didn't run up here either, coming from where he usually is to hoist the trophy.
Maybe he works on Windows and it crashed. So probably. But I mean, I look at the names of these guys. There's Mzorgi, the conditioning coaches, Majid Safi, the head coach, Nabi, obviously, Cedric Kaze, Khalil Ben Youssef. They all had a group picture before the team got to have a group picture. And that is wrong. And it took as you said, the media man to interfere and say, "Hey, guys, have some decorum.
Yeah.
And have some dignity, have some
out the
grace."
way, sit down, you'll have your moment. So that is contender number 1. Chief staff. Open tickets makes it into number 2 for their big blunder.
I think they are pretty much up there. They'd apologised to fans. 10,000 tickets oversold. And we were both worried that something might happen at the game with people arriving, no tickets, trying to storm the gates. And
there was none of that, which
well
was
done,
absolutely beautiful. Yeah, I'm really happy. But there is the flip side, which you just mentioned. So if it is that you got your money back, right, for whatever blunder they made and they reversed the charges, wonderful. What about the charges for me?
Yeah.
That once I got those tickets, I then booked flight tickets and accommodation and then possibly had to cancel not getting my money back because of the reversal of the tickets.
People at 15K.
Yeah.
I like that one guy. Another who had booked 4 single rooms for his mates, he and his mates, 1,300 Rand a night.
So I think it should go further.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just about the tickets, it's about everything else. If I'm not Durban based, you know, that you're just like, okay, so now I'm out of pocket of like 25K. Who's going to give me that back now?
Well, exactly. And it's going to test your support of the team. Without a doubt.
And I hope that this mistake won't happen again. Like it's a first and it's a last, and that we don't oversell tickets, that when tickets do go on sale,
he's going on a free, and I think it was Arsene Wenger was saying that this is going to be the way in the future. Teams can't afford to pay big transfer fees and big salaries.
They can or they won't.
They can't afford to. I mean, the last big signing that Real Madrid did was Jude Bellingham. And his brother Joe Bellingham, by the way, he's coming through as well. Apparently Dortmund are putting in a £25 million bid for him. So watch out for him. But Jude Bellingham cost them £100 million. But they aren't paying for that at the moment. They're basically they're getting guys on frees, or they're looking cheap. Kylian Mbappe, for example. So don't boo him. Liverpool fans up there. Manchester United, a bit of a squeeze.
Yeah, maybe. Really. Rabada.
I mean, just because you're like a Rabada, no, not at all.
Bravado. What do you say?
I think us, because of some journalists who wrote pieces about him, and would like. So
I'm over the story. Yeah. I'm over it.
So for me, the winner's got to be.
It is
Chiefs.
It's a Chiefs technical bench stepping up to take the shine away from the team when it is that they won the Nedbank Cup against Orlando Pirates this past weekend.
I don't think the Pirates staff would have done it.
No, definitely not.
Not at
definitely not.
But then Pirates are losers, so who cares?
We're back tomorrow. Cheerio.